You'll have to forgive me, I don't know much about Kobliads. But my understanding is you need a steady supply of duridium to keep your cell structure stabilized, or bad things start to happen.
Duridium?
And we have plenty of duridium in sickbay, so there's no risk of running out.
Thank you.
Feel free to make yourself at home. And help yourself to whatever you like from the replicator.
Well, thank you for giving me permission to eat. You look good, sweetheart. Except for when you frown, you got that thing in your nose.
I can't believe he keeps this around. Don't even know where mine is.
He's a choo-choo fan.
He's still got a thing for trains. The warp engines of their day, apparently.
Come on, let me sit in his chair. What do we got over here? Mineral.
The first mineral Captain Solano ever discovered. Always was the nostalgic type.
Jara Rydek. Last time I saw you, it was graduation from the academy. You'd already secured one of the most prestigious assignments possible. And you were burning with enough ambition to fuel 7 trips around the Necrid Expanse.
It's good to see you again, Captain.
Well, I could not be happier to have you on the Resolute. My only regret is that we couldn't provide you with a warmer welcome. The arrival of a first officer to her new ship deserves a bit of fanfare. But, unfortunately, we've had our hands full with the refit.
That would be totally unnecessary. I don't need any pomp and circumstance.
You've been here all of 5 minutes, and already you're trying to make us more efficient. I like it. As I'm sure you've heard, we've had a rough go of it these last 6 months. The ship suffered some damage, but not nearly as much as the crew.
I heard that you had an equipment malfunction.
Is that what they're calling it? No, that's just someone being generous. If anything, it was a leadership malfunction.
Oh.
We were on the verge of a major scientific breakthrough. A quantum leap forward in warp core technology. 10,000 teradynes per second.
Damn.
The ability to travel at a sustained rate of speed longer and faster than we ever dreamed. What would have been the crowning achievement of my career. Right there. Within our grasp. Until it all went so horribly wrong. We pushed her too hard, and a warp core malfunction overloaded the system, creating a pressure gradient way beyond what the ship can handle. It was heartbreaking. We lost some of our best people. As captain, I have to take full responsibility. It was my decision to make, and I have to live with the consequences.
Have to look to the future. You can't dwell on the past, on things you can't change.
There's nothing that can be done about it now. In my defense, I will say, I might have avoided the whole ordeal if my senior staff had been willing to trust me. There was a lot of pushback from my former XO, and I think that cost me his confidence. I don't want you to pull any punches. Certainly not on my account. But once we decide on a course of action, I need everyone to fully commit to the mission. Anything short of that just won't work. And that's when things start to go sideways.
This is your ship, and you are the captain. So as far as I'm concerned, whatever you say, goes.
That's the kind of support I'm looking for. Look, I'll be blunt. We can't afford another mistake. Or at least, I can't. I feel like my career is hanging in the balance here. We need a win. Something to restore the crew's confidence.
I understand.
On a more positive note, Starfleet has tasked us with what they're calling a mission of the highest priority. Escorting a senior diplomat to Hotari space. Two previously peaceful and otherwise non-aggressive civilizations now find themselves on the brink of all-out war.
So it's a peacekeeping mission.
I see it as a golden opportunity to not only prove what the Resolute and her crew are truly capable of, but also a mission for which we're uniquely qualified. This ionic storm. Our long-range sensors suggest it's several orders of magnitude stronger than anything on record. A total anomaly like nothing we've seen before. And you'll never guess where it leads.
Hatari.
Exactly. Very nearly in the precise location where we're headed. Where I imagine the interference will be exponentially greater. But the diplomat will brief us on the details of the rendezvous.
So basically, we're being sent into the eye of a storm, more powerful than anything on record.
Well, yes. But we're taking every precaution. But I don't want to get ahead of myself. I expect we'll have some rough sledding when we arrive, so I need you to prepare the crew for the worst. There's just one more thing I want to clarify up front. The metric that for me will be the ultimate measure of your success.
What is it?
If after serving as my first officer, you don't one day find yourself with a ship of your own, then I will consider it my personal failure. When that might happen is entirely up to you. But it goes without saying, you have my full support.
Thanks, Cap.
It's been a dream of mine since before I can remember. So I would be honored to become a captain someday.
As long as you're willing to do the work, you have my promise. I'll do everything in my power to see that it happens.
Thank you.
Thanks, Cap.
Come, let me introduce you to the crew.
Can I order a frappuccino? Ah. Interesting layout. Oh. They gotta do something to clean up the cutscenes where they intersect. Ah, almost looks like the bridge of the Enterprise D. With that
Everyone, if I could have your
boomerang-shaped
attention for a moment.
console, the way those.
I'd like to introduce Commander Jara Rydek, our new first officer.
She's a bitch, but she can
Some
be
quick
trusted.
introductions. This is Lieutenant Handar, our helmsman.
Bit of
One
a
of the best
wanker.
in the business.
One of?
Well, what he
Still.
lacks in humility, he more than makes up for in ability.
A pleasure to meet you, Commander.
Likewise.
Next, we have Commander Westbrook, our chief science officer. I've come to rely on his expert counsel on a regular basis.
Look,
Pleasure.
Commander Meathead.
Commander Rydek, it is such an honor to meet you.
Okay,
This is our tactical officer, Lieutenant Bedrosian.
Lieutenant
Who's
Suck
been
Up.
looking forward to meeting you for about as long as I can remember.
I've been following your career for quite some time,
They gotta do something with the hair.
and I look forward to learning as much as I can from you.
Oh, that's very kind.
That's very kind of you to say. I'm happy to be here.
Well, I have to admit, one of the reasons I've followed your career is because you're part Kobliad, because of what you've overcome. Starfleet stands up for people who can't defend themselves, and you were one of those people once. But since then, you've done so much to protect others who need it. I really admire that. So, you've been something of an inspiration to me. Not that I've done anything close to what you've done.
I don't know what to say. That's incredibly flattering, thank you.
I hope someday I can follow in your footsteps.
I'm sure you will.
And then, of course, you've already met Commander Ermont. Please, do everything
Bluey.
you can to make Commander Rydek feel at home here. I'll be on the starbase. have an urgent meeting with the Starbase commander to get our authorization to get underway. If they drag their feet any longer, we won't make our rendezvous. The bridge is yours.
Alright. Shields at maximum, target the station, and phases. Let's kill the captain so I can take the ship permanently.
Communications. Keeps us in contact internally and with other vessels.
What's going on, Bluey? He didn't introduce you, why? Excuse me, who are you? Why didn't he introduce you? You introduced me to him, Plankhead here, and not those two. Wow. Okay, so how does it feel to be left out? Oh, nice. Yeah, slap you on the ass on the way through, probably get sexual harassment, but...
So many decks. Full of crew that are now my responsibility.
How are you gonna sleep at night?
Tactical station. Hopefully a diplomatic mission won't require we use our weapons much.
Barely
But
reached
if
the
it comes
top
to
of that
that,
station.
we'll be ready.
Can I get you a stool? Or maybe lower that console down? Yeah, my chair. I always like to look
Commander,
at these chairs.
Chief Engineer Chovak
Nice
needs to
and
lower the
comfy.
structural integrity field.
Leather.
He's sent a crew out to recalibrate the emitters in response to the danger posed by the storm. We just need your go-ahead.
Mission granted.
Lowering structural integrity field, now.
Entering maintenance mode. Condition blue.
The storm is getting worse.
Looks like they turned off the SIF.
Great. Let's get to that emitter.
Okay, you're gonna show me that way. I'll turn the camera. No, I'll do that. Okay.
Every time we're out here, I half expect to see her in pieces
This is
again.
the angle you're gonna
She's
show
still got
us?
some scars on her.
Come on.
It adds character.
When I joined Starfleet, all I wanted was a ride out of town. But this isn't exactly how I pictured it.
On the outside of the ship?
No.
Oh, they honestly look like they were walking.
Sometimes
on
it feels like we're just
treadmill,
part of the
and
machinery.
The background's moving.
Don't you want
behind.
more than that?
Old style film.
I mean, Starfleet is noble and all, but it's still a machine. A massive, massive machine.
Yeah, of course I do. Starfleet's an open door. We just have to walk through it. You wanted to get away. I enlisted because I didn't want to wait years just to get out and see the galaxy. I wanted to go somewhere. See new worlds. Look up at a sky no one's ever seen before. Just because I'm cranking a hyperspanner up in a Jeffries tube today doesn't mean that's all I'll ever be. Diaz to Commander Chovak. We are at the SIF emitter.
Acknowledged. You may proceed with the recalibration.
She's gonna whack me with it.
Beginning recalibration.
Careful. Too much action and harmonics will deflect the alignment.
Looks good.
That's
That
all.
wasn't so hard.
Commander Westbrook, right? Chief Science Officer.
You remembered my name and my rank. Impressive. Yes, I'm the Chief Science Officer, and I have the dubious honor of being the most senior officer on this bridge. At least, I know this ship inside and out. Better than just about anyone.
Oh, bit off himself. Yeah, give him a snarky
I'm so glad you said that. Now I know exactly who to turn to when I have questions.
Questions are more Commander Ermont's territory. Captain Solano primarily relies on my knowledge and expertise when he needs answers. I'm curious, though. A Kobliad, or half in your case, is an odd choice for First Officer, given your vulnerable condition and all. But if, as an example, we found ourselves in a hostile situation,
Could that
and
be
you were
taken as a
suddenly
hint of
incapacitated
racist?
because you needed an infusion, what would happen then? You'd leave Captain Solano without an XO. Granted, that would be a worst-case scenario, but not outside the realm of possibility.
Captain Solano's familiar with my condition. I'm sure it factored into his decision. So I'd have to say it's not a problem.
But we should probably have a contingency plan just in case. Listen, can I be blunt, Commander?
I see
Like
no
you haven't
reason to
been.
stop now.
Yeah.
Commander Sutherland, your predecessor, was one of the best first officers in all of Starfleet. His record was impeccable and his reputation was without equal. I mean no disrespect, but the shoes you're stepping into are almost impossible to fill. He was loved by the crew, and he was one of my closest friends. So I can only hope that you'll live up to expectations.
Mr. Westbrook, if you have some kind of problem with me, and you just met me so it has nothing to do with me, you're gonna have to figure out how to get over it. Because I'm here, and I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Do you read me?
Loud and clear. I'll stick to science. That is what this ship is for.
Very well.
Schooled, bitch.
Seeing as Captain Solano is on the starbase, let me give you an update on this ion storm we're flying into.
Thank you.
It's unusual, unlike anything I've ever seen. At the moment, I can't tell you if the Resolute will shrug it off or if we're putting ourselves at risk. However, if we learn more about its patterns, its nature, we can come up with a scientific countermeasure. Just a moment.
Shields up.
We've got a massive energy wave inbound.
On screen.
Tracing its
Sorry.
trajectory.
Starbase docking clamps are holding.
The storm's emissions are fluctuating, coming in waves. And if my projections are right, we're about to get hit by a wide-band burst of ionic energy. Like a tsunami.
I'm reading power abnormalities all over the ship.
Red alert!
Aye.
What about the people out on the hull? What are you waving at?
Evacuating main gangway and retracting.
Putting sensor visualization on screen.
With the structural integrity field shut down, we can't take a direct hit.
Time to impact. 1 minute.
Shield systems are severely impacted. We have limited protection.
I need every available solution. What are our options?
We can weaken the impact of the storm with a deflector pulse.
There's a better way.
I'm sending all auxiliary power to the deflector dish.
Send the aux power to the shields. We can't reactivate the entire shield bubble, but it's a directional threat. So we can orient all we have towards the wave. You have to believe me.
Oh,
We only get one shot at this.
Oh.
We can't afford to get it wrong.
oh,
That's
upset
right,
him or her.
which is why we need
Him
to
or her.
send power
Him-
to our shields.
Shields up.
Petrosian, get those shields up.
Rerouting power to shields. Stand by. I need a heading. We've only got one shot.
Understood. On my command.
Oh, wow.
Heading locked.
Raise shields!
This is it!
All hands, brace for impact.
experienced a surge of radiation.
Ooh, that blew up in your
Oh,
face.
you don't say.
This radiation supercharged the plasma, forcing it to backflush through the system and creating a dangerous imbalance.
Blow out every primary system on the ship.
Just tell us where you need us.
I need you to traverse the hull to the access port to recalibrate the port nacelle plasma regulator.
Okay. Stumbled my way there.
We've reached the first access point.
Understood. Do you see the override for the level 1 failsafe circuits?
Affirmative.
Engage the override. It should allow us to stop the EPS flow to the warp engine without triggering an automatic core shutdown.
Failsafe override engaged.
Are you sure? I am registering some crosstalk in the bypass circuit.
We need to route the signals so they don't interfere with each other.
Diaz to Resolute. The failsafes are temporarily disabled. Moving on to the EPS regulator.
Heads up, Carter.
What is that?
One of the discharges coalesced.
It's coming right toward us. I'm gonna try to disrupt it with my phaser.
Oh, finally we get to shoot something. Ah, cool. Ah.
So we gotta climb up the pylon. Not that there's really an up, but, you know.
Oh, this shit's boring. Huh. Yeah. What are we, Ghostbusters?
Close to the regulator. Are you alright?
Yeah. Suit took most of it. Just snuck up on me.
That damaged the suit. Energy dampening is down to 60%. Carter!
That hurt.
Do not get hit again.
Well, start shooting these things for me. Fucking hell, sweetheart. Now you look like you're doing something.
We're at the regulator. Opening the access panel.
I am now halting the EPS flow to the port nacelle. We have little time before it causes an overload in the engine. You must work efficiently.
Ah, shut up, mate. Fucking Robert Hawkins.
EPS manifold adjusters reset to neutral. EPS lines to the port warp engine are back in balance. Almost done. Once I cycle the manifold nozzles, Chovat can... docking clamp. We've got a lot of debris coming down. Hull vibrations, too. We can't finish the EPS regulation in these conditions. Please advise.
We have to release the ship from that other docking clamp or the hull will be ripped apart.
There's a problem. The clamps are supposed to disengage automatically in an emergency, but it's not working.
Not working?
What are our options?
The docking clamps are fitted with exploding bolts for an emergency release.
We've got crew out there. That'd be like setting off a bomb next to them.
Maybe there's another way.
Starbase is hailing us. Put him through.
Resolute, the remaining mooring arm is failing. You need to disengage from the starbase now. The damage to the station will be catastrophic.
We'll beam the captain back on board.
All right, Starbase, we're on it.
Acknowledged.
Commander, hear me out. Reverse the polarity of the hull, which theoretically will repel the docking clamps.
And repel the engineering crew right off the hull into the storm.
This is Captain Solano. Put me on screen.
Go ahead. Captain, we have a situation.
Commander, what are you doing? Blow the bolts on the docking clamp.
The captain doesn't know the whole story.
I'm giving you an order. Chara?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Disengaging the clamps.
They're gonna get hammered with debris out there.
The captain made himself quite clear.
Reverse the polarity.
There is protocol.
And there are lives.
What is the holdup?
Starbase, stand by. We're gonna flip hull polarity to disengage the clamps.
Yes, Commander.
What? You just said you disengage the clamps!
Captain, I have to do this. Repair crew, this is Acting Captain Jara Rydek. Be advised, we are going to reverse hull polarity to free us from the remaining docking clamp. Tether yourself and deactivate your boots on my mark.
Understood.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mark!
Grab my hand! I got you.
Thank you.
Plasma imbalance is reaching critical condition. We are moments from primary system failure.
I got it.
About time.
Look out!
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh, do I bother? No. She's annoying.
I got you. Petty Officer Etzelar's hurt and unconscious. I'm gonna have to tow her back to the airlock.
Mr. Diaz, the situation has changed. You are at risk of triggering a substantial electromagnetic arc if you approach the main hull the way you came.
But Commander, the way we came is the nearest airlock.
There is an auxiliary hatch near you on the far end of the pylon. You must bring Miss Edsolar there to access the interior.
Roger that. I'm going there now.
Go on.
I'm at the auxiliary hatch.
You go first.
What?
Let me save your neck this time.
Oh, no, it's gonna be a decision.
No time to fight me on this. Get in there.
Not on your life.
Let's not let it come down to that.
Oh, muscles. Jesus Christ. Oh. You're gonna get zapped. Oh, fuck it. Look at that. There we go.
We made it.
They're safe. Bringing the SIF fully online.
Do it.
Nilly.
I'm good. Help me with him.
Let's get this off. Medical. Got one wounded at my location. Carter. You don't look so good. You gotta be more careful. I just got here. I'm not ready to see you two get blown to space dust just yet. Now let's get you down to sickbay.
Great.
Why not just transport them there? Eh. I think there's a couple of love triangles going on already.
Status report.
Yes, Captain.
The repair crew made it inside. EPS flow is back to nominal levels. The SIF is back up.
How does this affect mission readiness, Mr. Ermot?
Releasing the docking clamps using hull polarity minimized damage to the Resolute. We'll have some last-minute repairs to make, but if we reapportion some of the staff, we can make our departure on time. As of now, however, we are successfully moored to the station.
Good to hear. Send updates to my ready room. Commander Rydek, with me.
Well, we got a couple slacking.
You disobeyed my orders.
On the first day.
Well?
Respectfully, Captain, I made the right choice given the information
You
I had.
disobeyed my orders! And not just in front of the bridge crew, but the Starbase staff as well. That's going to get around. My name's already tarnished around the fleet. But what is it going to do to my credibility on this ship? From the top to the bottom. Bridge to lower decks.
Maybe I shouldn't have disobeyed a direct order. But you were wrong. You weren't on board, and you didn't have all the information. So I made the right decision for the ship. If you're worried about your credibility, put your ego aside and trust your crew. Trust me.
You might have won some fans on the bridge with that stunt, but not everyone. Lieutenant Commander Chovak has already bent my ear.
I'm sure he doesn't take it personally. He'll get over it in time.
Mr. Chovak is more complicated than he would want to admit. I guess we all are. And, if I'm being honest, I'm not sure what I would have done in the moment either. You never really know if you weren't in those shoes. So, let's just boil it down to, you did what you had to. That'll have to be good enough for me.
Thank you for understanding, sir. I'm sure no one knows the burden of command as well as you do.
Yeah, well, he's the captain.
I'm sure you will, someday. Despite it all, we got our final Starfleet clearance to depart. So if you'll fetch Mr. Ermot, we'll knock out the final details of any outstanding repairs, and then we'll set out for Hotari.
Yes, sir.